Pardon me for that. So now if you have a roller or if you have even just a yoga block, just put it under your sacrum. So basically where your bones are in the front of your pelvis is where you want it to be underneath. Same with the block. The roller is a little bit taller, but a block is just as good. If you have it too close to the top of your pelvis, it's going to throw you into an arch. That's not what we want. So roll back towards your tailbone and let your rib cage relax towards that negative space. Just take a few breaths there. And then you're going to bring one leg up. I'll do the other leg first so you can see. Same thing on a block. You're just going to hold this leg. So it's not really, you're not pulling. You're just keeping it so it's not weighting in the other direction. And if that's uncomfortable for you, just have this foot down on the floor. And you're going to slowly walk that foot away while you keep that pelvis where it is. So don't let the pelvis roll over the block or the roller. Don't let the leg take the pelvis with it. We want to keep that pelvis where it is so that we get a stretch in the psoas. The psoas wraps around and connects to the inner thigh bone. Sorry, my cat is serenading us today. And just relax. Try to really, wherever it is, if you're only here, wherever that is, take a few breaths in that position. And then see if you can walk out a little farther. And then keep doing the same thing. Take a few breaths trying to relax and stretch away. And wherever your end range is, try to imagine that thigh bone reaching down towards the hamstrings and the hamstrings reaching down towards the floor. Even though it's impossible for them to reach, just imagine that so that the energy is falling down to help stretch. The psoas is a very long, important postural muscle. So we want to get some length there. And sitting actually shortens it because of this flexion, and it connects down here. So we want to get some length back in that tissue. And slowly bring that leg in and change which leg. If you need to monitor your pelvis to make sure you're not following your leg, you can just put your hand on that bone and you'll be able to feel when it shifts. You shouldn't feel a whole lot of pulling in the belly. If you are, then probably that leg is taking the pelvis with it. So just keep that pelvis level on the roller and just slowly walk it out. Again, imagining that thigh bone reaching for the hamstrings reaching for the floor. Make sure you're not arching. Think of being in a little hammock. Let that spine just relax down towards the floor and breathe nice and full. Trying to relax the tissue in the leg to get a little more pull. The weight of the leg is stretching that end range of the psoas. Make sure that leg isn't falling out to the side. Keep it in line with the hip. And then slowly walk that leg back in. Good. Since we have the roller here or the block or even nothing, it doesn't matter, we'll do a little bit with our legs in this position. So I'm just going to show different variations depending on what you have. So if you have the roller, you're just going to have your hands on it to steady it. So anything we do from here, whether we're doing these, or even leg circles, possibly later in the class, you can have the roller underneath your sacrum. If you have a yoga block, you can do the same thing. Just have that block underneath, right? And if we were doing anything with the legs together, you can have a ring between your ankles to make it harder. So any of those things to make it harder is up to you. It's really your class and it's your workout. So let's take those legs up to the ceiling. I want you to pay attention if you're on a block or on a roller. I want you to pay attention again to not letting the ribs pop up. I want you to try to think of them sinking down towards the mat, and you're just going to have those legs up. Now you're going to bring those legs down to the 45 and bring them back up. So use the muscles in between the lower ribs and the pelvis to keep that area connected. Don't let that area change and get bigger. You want to keep it the same. Make sure you're not going so far that your rectus right down the middle of the body is poking up to the ceiling. And then we're going to lower and lift and bring those legs in a frog position. Reach out on the 45, point those toes, lower and lift and come back in. Reach long with those toes and lower and lift and come back in. And reach and lower and lift and come back in. Make sure those ribs are relaxed and down and up. Again, it's our challenge to keep that pelvis where it is. Let's do one more. And last one, reach and in. Good. Let's take that roller or block out from underneath you. And let's bring our hands to our skull. Make sure you're not on your neck. I don't think I've said this since we've been doing these classes online, but those first two vertebrae do not have a cushion in between them. It's just a little pivot that makes you be able to turn your head. So make sure you don't have your hands on those little top vertebrae. So have your elbows a little bit off the floor. Have your chin a little bit towards your sternum. And with an inhale, lift the head up, and with an exhale, curl forward. And then lengthen and come down. Again, with the inhale, you're going to lift that head straight up, little tuck of the chin, and exhale as you curl. And come back. I might have to give in and let him in. And inhale to lift, and exhale. And back up. One more time, holding your head. So inhale to lift, exhale as you flex up and come down. Now this next one, we're going to stay up there. So inhale and exhale. Now just take one arm out. So you can hold your head with your hand if you want to, or you can release it. And you're going to reach for your feet. So a little work in the lateral side, which helps to start working the quadratus lumborum in the back of the body. And four more. And last one. Bring your hand back to your head. Lift up, lengthen. Other arm and reach for the feet. So really try to keep the shoulders a little bit lifted. And four more. And three. Exhale. And two. And one. Bring your hands back to your head and lower yourself down. Good. Let's bring our legs one at a time up into tabletop. And bring your hands up right over the chest. Reach those arms up. Feel those scapula open up as you pull those shoulders back into place. See if you can leave the scapula nice and wide. One more time, reach up. And while you're up there, externally rotate the arms from the top of the arms. So now the palms should be facing each other. And bring those shoulders back down. We're going to do opposite leg and hand. So I want you to think of working the opposite arm going in the direction of the hand. So the opposite arm is going to follow. Now we're going to add the other arm. The other arm is going to reach overhead. So we're using both arms, reaching long, keeping the arm in the socket. Don't pull it out of the socket. And don't squeeze it in. Let it stay nice and wide. And now, if that's enough for you, stay there. Otherwise, lift the head and flex. So now you have a little more work in the abdominals because they're carrying the weight of that head. And reach. And reach. Reach the toes and reach the fingertips. Keep all those muscles active. And one more set. And roll down. I don't know what's going on with him today. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but my cat is yowling at the door. Let's do a few bridges. So we'll start with unarticulated, and then for those that can do articulation, we'll go into articulation. So have your feet in line with the hips or sits bones and press into those feet. That already should start a little feeling in the hamstrings, and then think of pulling those heels towards your buttocks. That should get those hamstrings more engaged. And then come on up. Straight up. And from the bottom of the pelvis, come down. Like when you squat or when you go to sit in a chair, and come up. Really reach up. Feel those glutes contracting and come down. One more time like that. Reach on up. Let's stay up. Reach one leg up to the ceiling and point it as it goes away and flex it as it comes up. Reach it long and flex it up. Just two more. Reach and flex and reach and flex. Bend that knee and come down. Reestablish the height of your hips. Again, think of the heel pulling in towards the buttocks to keep the hamstrings engaged. Reach up, point away, and flex up. Reach, point away, and flex up, and away, and up. One more, and up. Bend that knee. Reach those hips up, and calm down. Now for those that can do articulation, we're going to do a few with articulation. So shorten the space between your pubic bone and your waistband. And then you're going to curl up. Take a nice big inhale and gently curl down, reaching those sits bones for the heels. Good. One more time like that. Curl up. And reach those knees nice and long and curl down, separating one bone away from the other. Now for those that have a roller, if you want to do something that is more challenging, it'll be different for those that have a roller and that don't. So we'll just show it and you have the option, since it's not going to change anything. No one can see what you're doing, so you're not disturbing anybody. You're going to put that roller under your feet and you're going to come up. Now you're going to try to pull those heels in to your buttocks, just like that. And then you're going to come down. And you'll do that 3 times. For those of us that don't have a roller with us today, you're going to come up and you're going to just reach one leg up to the ceiling. And now you're going to pulse up, really push up as high as you can. So the back of the leg and the glutes have to work. 4 more. And 3. Reach up as high as you can. And 2. And 1. And bring that foot down. Curl down. Let's warm up that back. Again, if you can't do articulation, you can still do this just by coming up with that unarticulated bridge. Reach that foot up, flex the foot, and squeeze up. Really push and squeeze and squeeze. 4 more. And 3 and 2 and 1. Bring that foot down and come down. Good. Everybody just hold your legs and just do a little bit of stirring on the back of that sacrum. And then the other direction. And I'm going to show two different variations now for those that have any sort of issues with their back that are not supposed to do flexion. You're going to do it from a straight back. So you're going to hinge back and come forward. Everybody can do this and hinge back, because everybody can, no one has a problem with this, no matter what's going on with your back. And now hinge back and come up with one leg up. And hinge back and up. Put that foot down. And then you'll repeat and do the same thing on the other side. For those that can do articulation, we're going to do it a little differently. You're going to start from down. So it's a warm-up for teaser. You're going to come up and then reach that leg up. Now see if you can come down to the sacrum and back up. Just down to the sacrum and back up. Two more. Down to the sacrum and back up. And last one. And up. And then put that foot down and roll all the way down. And we'll do the other side. So first you're going to come up, lengthen that leg, and down to the sacrum, and up, and down, and up. Two more, and up. Last one, and up. Put that foot down, and roll all the way down. Good, so that's our warm up for teaser, which hopefully we'll get to today. So I want to do roll over. So there's different things that can be reasons why it's not suggested for certain people, right? One, of course, is if you have osteopenia, osteoporosis. Two is if you have high blood pressure, or if you know that your eyes have too much pressure in the eyes, then you wouldn't want to go all the way over. So you can just come to here, right? Trying to think of the belly button, and right behind there is where you want to think of that lift coming from. So it's actually a lot smaller than you think, but that way it keeps the back more elongated than flexed. Otherwise, we're going to do our 45 to 90, up and over, open those legs to shoulder width, and slowly roll down. Swoop those legs back. We're just going to do 3 in each direction. Open and roll. Use those triceps to help you come down nice and slow. Open and roll. Now this time leave those legs open, up and over, bring them together and roll. And then around, shoulder width, up and over, together and roll. And last one, up and over, together and roll. Good, and come down. Let's come to our sides for a moment. We don't normally do it in this order, but we will. So for those that have a roller, you can have your roller right on your thighs so that you get a little bit of a massage in those quadriceps. If you have a ring, you can have the ring in the center so you have a little something to push on. And if not, we're just going to do it just with our arms. So again, externally rotate the top of the arm so the palm should be facing. Sit up nice and tall on your sits bones and reach forward. And come back up. And again, reach forward. And I'm going to check the computer screen because I'm afraid something might be wrong. And come back up. This time reach forward. You're in a curl. And now reach long from your sits bones through the crown of the head. Now to come back, think of pulling that waistband back and curling up. Just one more like that. Up and over. And then reach from the sits bones to the crown of the head, nice and long. Don't let those ribs drop to the floor. Pull them back towards the spine to support the spine. Pull that waistband back and start to curl up. Good. I just checked something. I'm really sorry. Just don't know what's going on because it's not really showing me, but I think you're probably okay. I don't see anybody commenting that it's not okay. So let's come back on the backs, and we're going to do our hundreds first, and then we'll go into leg circles. So for the hundreds, you have several options for your hands. So if you had anything at all and you wanted to use that rather than the pulsing, you can. If you have a roller, there's a different variation that's a little bit different where you put the roller right past your buttocks so that instead of pulsing this way, you'll be pulsing this way. So you have your different options and you can just do whichever is good for what you have around your house. Otherwise, have the arms right over the chest. This time the palms are facing away. Bring those knees up to tabletop with an inhale now, and then an exhale, come into your position. And here we go. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Halfway there, so if you want to change your legs, go ahead. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 4, 5. Last one. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, and come in. This time have one hand on each kneecap and just do little individual circles, just lubricating that hip socket. We're just rotating that bone in the socket. Hopefully bring a little more blood flow. And then bring those legs down. So we're going to do leg circles first before we go into the series of 5. So just feel your back nice and long on the floor and bring one leg out. You can have your other leg like this if you need it for stability, if you have trouble keeping that pelvis still. This is lumbo-pelvic stability, so we don't want anything to move up here. So if we have our legs straight, you're going to reach across the body. First, we're going to just go through the outer perimeter of your circle. So do know it doesn't matter where that circle is. It could even be up towards the ceiling. Reach up and reach down towards the foot. That's our midline. Make sure you know where that is. Make sure those ribs are down. Don't tilt the pelvis. And then a little external rotation. Reach that hip down towards the other foot so that it's not hiking up towards your waistband, and reach that foot out. And come back up. So here we go. We're going to do 6 in each direction. So we're going to go across, down, open, and up. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. 3 more. Keep reaching away no matter what the diameter of your circle is. You're still trying to reach. Last one. Come up. Now make sure this is where a lot of people hike. You're going to externally rotate from the top of the hip. Think of that hip sit bone reaching for the other foot to help keep you on the midline. And we're going to open up, down, swoop it around. And reach and swoop. Inhale. Inhale. I don't know what's with my cat today. And reach. Last two. Last one. Hold it there. And reach long, all the way down to the floor. And then other leg. You're going to come across the body first, trying to keep that pelvis square on the floor. And reach out, trying to make space in the hips so that bone can just rotate nice and smoothly up to the ceiling and long down to the other foot. Stay in control of it. And bring it back up. Externally rotate from the top of the thigh and reach it out to the side. This one is where it's hard. You really have to think about that other side of the body reaching down for your mat. Okay, here we go. We're going to go across first, down, open and up. Reach, keep reaching. And reach. 3 more. Check in with your head. Make sure you haven't brought your chin up to the ceiling. I believe this is the last one. And come to the center. Externally rotate from the top. Make sure that that sit bone is reaching for the other foot so that you're not hiking up into the waistband. And swoop it back up. Don't worry too much about the direction that the leg has to be. This one starts in external, but if you just keep reaching, that bone knows exactly what it needs to do. Last one, reach long all the way down and come back in. Good. So you don't have to really worry too much about it. As long as you keep extending out, it's a round head. That is our most functional joint. And so we're going to do our series of 5 now. Today we're going to start with double leg stretch, and then we'll go into single leg. We'll go into hamstring pull, and then lower lift. We'll only do 6 lower lifts, and then we're going to do 2 variations of crisscross today. So for double leg, you can hold your head or not, doesn't matter, but both legs are up. You're going to inhale, you're going to exhale to come up, and here we go. Inhale. Exhale, inhale, exhale. Really try to feel those lower abs, helping you bring those legs in. 4 more. And 3. And 2. And 1. Good. Bring them in again. Hand to knee, hand to shin. Try to come up a little higher and change. Keep lifting up. 2 more. And 8. Good. Reach one leg up. Crawl a little higher. Try to hold that shape and pulse twice. And shift. You can do little exhales, or some people like to do inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. See what you like. I'm sorry. I'm really screwing up today. I apologize. Again. I think we have 3 more. And change. And change. And change. And change. Legs together. Everybody holds their head. Make sure you're in a good position here. If legs long is too much, bend them. Only go as far as you can keep that back flat. And down 2, 3, 4. And up on 1. And down 2, 3, 4. And up. Reach long away so those legs aren't dead weight. Make them be long so the muscles are active. 3 more. And up. and down and up. Last one, down and up. Bring those legs into tabletop. Have your elbows about 45 degrees. Try not to change that arrangement. And go across with the obliques and change. Don't pull that elbow in. Try to reach up and over, over. Try to challenge yourself at that end range to try to get a little further across. Let's do 4 more sets. And 3. And 2. And 1. Good. Take a little break. I want to do one more crisscross. And this time we're going to do scissoring legs while we're doing our crisscross. So instead of having the legs come in close, they're not going to be near you. You're going to have legs straight up. You're going to hold your head. You're going to curl up, bring one leg away, and rotate towards it. 4 more. And 3. And 2. And 1. And bend those knees and come down. Just move your feet out to the edges of your mat. Bring one knee over to the other foot and reach that knee long away. And come back. One time on the other side. Reach that knee across and then reach it long away. So you get a nice stretch up through the whole side from the knee all the way up to the chest and come back. Let's do one more stretch while we're here. So you're going to just let those knees fall to one side. Whichever side you fall to, the opposite arm's going to go up and over. And then you're going to rotate your head towards that armpit. And you're going to reach that top hip away from your head. So you get a nice stretch through that hip and nice big breaths. Let's take one more breath. And then bring those legs back. Bring those legs over to the other side. And opposite arm goes overhead, shoulder blade down the back. Turn your head towards that arm and reach that top hip away. Get a nice long stretch. And come back to center. Good. Let's roll over to our side. So have that bottom leg like this. For those that have a ring, if you want to use the ring, we're not going to do it right now, but when we do our lowers here, if you want a little bit more resistance, you can put that ring underneath your foot. But it's not necessary, but it's just another way that you can use it. Okay, so you can be down lower. I've just gotten in the habit of being here. And then we're going to do our leg kicks. So you're going to make sure that your hip isn't falling towards your waist. You're going to reach it away. Same with the shoulder. You're not letting yourself hang down into that shoulder. You have to reach down into the floor and up through the rib cage. We're going to come forward with a flex and reach long and back with a point. So you can use your arm in opposition if you like that feeling of the full body. Otherwise, just the leg. But you're not going so far forward that you have to tuck, and you're not going so far back that you have to arch. Let's do 3 more. And reach, and 2. Really reach. That extension is important for our gait, the size of our step. I'd like to do today some bicycling. So let's have that leg in front. Again, make sure the 2 hips are right stacked. Don't let one fall. Bend that knee, carry it back. I have to move up. Carry it back, open, and come forward. Bend that knee, carry it back, open, and come forward. Let's do 3 more. And forward. And reach. Last one this direction. And reach. Now swoop it back. Bend it. Carry it forward first before you open. Swoop back. So you're opening that hip flexor. And then open. Reach. And open. Reach. And open. 2 more. Reach. And open. And reach. And open. Good. So here's where, if you have a ring and you want to use it, you can put it right underneath your foot. This one I'm going to come down a little bit lower. Do make sure that this hip still is not falling towards your waist, because then you're collapsing on the other side. Make sure they're stacked on top of each other. Flex that foot and reach it down and up. 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's bring it in line with the hip. So not in front, not in back. Just try to feel right where that hip is, and down and up. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. Good. Now one more we're going to do with a little bit behind. So you really need to pay attention to not opening up those ribs, and lift. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Bring that knee in. Let's do our clamshells. So feet back. Make sure that the shoulder girdle and the pelvic girdle are lined up. So if we had a wall behind us, we'd be on that wall. If you're not sure, get yourself on the back edge of your mat and don't let yourself fall back. You want to keep the pelvis where it is, and we're just using all of those muscles in the glutes to lift up and lift up and up. We're going to do 5 more like this, and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. And now you're going to a little bit externally rotate and have your heels together. So your knee is a little different position, just very slightly different, but we're going to do 10 more. And lift. Keep those heels pressing as you open. Press that heel down. And open. And open. And open. 5 more. And 4. And 3. And 2. And 1. Good. Let's do one more thing before we go and stretch that hip. So straighten that leg long. Make sure again that that hip is not falling towards the waistband. And we're going to do hot potato. So in the front, up and over, and in the back. And reach up and over and in the front. Up and over. We'll only do 8. This is 3. And up. And tap. And tap. 4 more. Reach. And reach. And reach. And reach. Last one. And reach. And come in. So everybody lie in your back and stretch out that hip. Let's see what's going on. Okay. I'm going to unmute everybody. Just let me know if you are okay. Is everybody all right today? Does anybody have any questions?
All good.
I'm okay.
Okay.
All good.
All right. I heard somebody make a little beep and I wasn't sure. All right, so as you're stretching your hip, just continue and then we'll move over to the other side. Who was that? Okay, let's come over to the other side. And we'll start first again with our leg swings. So for most people, having that kickstand leg on the bottom leg helps a little bit with keeping yourself nice and steady. Again, if you want to use your arm in countering, that's fine. I always like the way that feels. Make sure you're lifted in your chest. Don't slump into that shoulder. And make sure the hips are lined up on top of each other, right? So it's nice and long as you can. And you're going to come front with a flex and reach long with a point. And flex and point. Make your breath be continuous with your movement and just coordinate it. Which way feels better for you? Does it feel better to exhale in the front or exhale in the back? Just whichever works for you. Let's do 3 more sets. And reach. And 2. And reach. And 1. And reach. Good. Now let's do our bicycle. So leave that leg in the back, bend that knee, carry it forward, reach it long, and then swoop it back. Now a lot of people start releasing the leg as they're coming through. Really try to think of keeping that so the hamstrings have to work until you're all the way in front, then open. So reach, fold, carry, open. Reach, fold, carry, open. Reach, fold, carry, open. Let's do 3 more. I wasn't counting. And reach, and open. Last one. And open. Leave it to the front. Again, bend that knee, carry it back this way. You can feel right away how the hamstring has to work if you keep that leg folded, and bring it front. Bend, carry it while it's up, then open in the back. Carry it, then open it. There you go. And reach. 4 more. And reach. See how much can you bring that knee back so the hamstring has to contract. Last 2. Last 1. Good. Good. So let's bring that leg to the front and flex that foot. Keep those hips stacked. And we're going to tap and lift. 2 and 3. We're going to do 10, 4, and 5. 5 more. And 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Now bring it right in line with the hip, and down and up, right in line with the hip. Reach that foot away. If you reach that foot away, it'll help you to not drop into the floor. 3 more. Now carry it a little bit in back to open up that hip flexor. And again, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And bring that knee in. So we'll first do our regular clamshell, then we'll do the one with the feet turned out. So just open, make sure you're lined up. Again, make sure you're not dropping towards the floor with the rib cage. Keep it a little bit up by the waist. And 4, make sure you're not pulling that glute back. Keep it where it is. Keep the pelvis intact. We're just using those muscles. Let's do 5 more. And 4. And 3. Keep reaching that knee away to give you length. And last 1. Now the other variation, our legs, heels are together. The bottom leg, the lower leg is turned out. As you come back up, really press into those heels. And press. Just changes it a little bit. and 4. We're going to do 6 more, and 5. Keep going, 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Good. Now we're going to do our last one, which is our hot potato. So straighten that leg. It's going to come up in the front, tap down, and tap in the back. And over, and over, and over, and over. 4 more sets. And 3, and 2, and 1. Good. And lie on your back and get a stretch in that hip. And while you guys are stretching, if you could send me a note as to what things you have in your house that you might be able to use, then we can see like what the most common extra apparatus you have, whether it be a ball, whether it be, you know, a ring, whether it be a strap, whatever, and they can try to see, like, and we can do a little bit more that way. Someone today wanted to use roller, but I know another time when I did roller, I got comments that people didn't have it and they felt really lost. So send me a note and let me know, and we'll try to see what the commonality is for everybody. We're going to next come onto our bellies into prone. And here is a place that if you do have a roller, Jan, if you still want to use a roller, you can have it on your arm. So you're going to have it on the little bone, on the ulna, on the outside of the lower arm. It's going to be on the edge. Now, without that, you can still do this same exercise. So you're going to have your shoulder blades down your back, and you're just going to shrug forward. So if you don't have one, try to have your fingertips off your mat so you can easily shrug, and then pull those shoulders down the rib cage. Just let them slide up and down. It's one of the motions that the shoulders do. We try to encourage them staying on the rib cage, but this up and down is part of their range of motion. And then this time when you come back in, so you're going to reach away, and then when you come back in, you're just going to let yourself lift that head up a little, trying to keep the head in line with the spine. Now for those that don't have a roller, you can do the same thing just by pressing down into those arms and letting those arms extend, right? You can even have them a little bit bent so you have some place to push, right? So whether you have the roller or not, you're still doing that same motion. So the scapula stays down the back of the head is a little lifted so the neck is in line with the spine. You're going to try to think of keeping the ribs and the pelvis together. So when you come up, they should be in line. It should not be this kind of look where you come up and you do this, and then maybe at the end you remember to pull in. But I want you to really try very hard to get that connection from the start. So really try to think of that connection when you go and lift up. It's sort of like doing a push-up, because you have to keep those connected, otherwise your push-up is unsuccessful, right? So shoulder blades down, get the belly lifted towards the rib cage, towards the spine, and then come up. Should be nice and one piece. And come down. Good. So move up a little. Let's do our single leg kick. So you can have your arms either in that Sphinx position or with your hands coming together in the middle. Again, we don't want our ribs to be falling down to the mat. That's really not good for the lower back. So lift those ribs up towards the spine. The pubic bone should be resting in the mat. The shoulder blades should be down. You should be pressing into the floor and lifting up at the same time. Make sure your head isn't like this or like this. Try to just keep it in line with the spine. So think of the back of the head a little bit more. We're going to do a flex and a point and a lift and a reach and a down. Okay, so flex, point, reach, down. Flex, point, reach, down. Pay attention to that rib cage the whole time. Don't let it start to sag. Flex, point, reach, down. Flex, point, reach, down. Flex, point, reach, down. Flex, point, reach, down. Flex, point. One more set. Flex, point, reach, down. Flex, point, reach, down. Let's go right into double leg kick. So bring yourself down. Rotate your head to whichever side you want to start on. Hands come in back, right? So just make sure when you're kicking that you're not rocking your whole body. We're just doing the legs, okay? So here we go. We're going to kick, 2, 3, full body extension. And change, and kick, 2, 3, and reach, and change, 2, 3, and reach, and change, 2, 3, and reach, 2 more, and reach, and change, 2, 3, and reach, last set, and reach, change, 2, 3, reach and hold, bring those arms around to the front and go into your swimming. Keep the head, the crown of the head reaching long in front, don't crimp, and hold. Bring those hands to the chest, reach back, and give yourself a child's pose. Take a few breaths there, breathe all the way down into the pelvis. And bring those hands over to one side and get a stretch in the side body. Again, try to imagine you're pushing the floor away to give you a little bit more resistance. So the hands are pushing one way and the hip is pushing the other to get a little more stretch in that side body. And then come back to center. And then over to the other side. And again, reach away in opposite directions with the hand and the hip. Get a nice stretch. And back to center. Now I'm going to check what time it is. See what time we have left. Oh, we're already done. Okay, so let's do a mermaid today to end our class. So again, you can sit in the W if that's good for your joints. And if not, just sit in crisscross legs. It doesn't really matter. Right? So first we're going to stretch our arms out. And then you're going to rotate those arms so the palms are up. You're going to lean over, bring your hand to the floor. Let's do one nice reach, lifting the top rib cage up and away. And then come back up to seated. Next time we're going to rotate. So I discovered that what makes it easier for people to rotate is if you have that knee right in the middle, right in front of your hip, rather than a little further out, which the W has it further out. Let's bring that knee right in front of the hip. Okay, so rotate those arms. Arm goes up, come over. Now bring that arm to the back of the mat, rotate towards the mat, and bring your hands to the edges of your mat. Now, if it's okay for you, bring your hands a little further forward, rotate that spine a little bit more, and bring those elbows down to the floor. If you're still in this position, that's fine, don't worry. But if you can get a little more rotation in the middle. And now the top leg is going to reach for the back corner of your mat. So try to get a nice stretch again through the hip flexor. Keep reaching through the crown of the head. And then bring that leg back into place. Bring the back hand to the middle of the mat. Come back to that lateral and come up. And let's change sides. So from the beginning, let's put that knee a little bit more in front of the hip if we can, which means the back leg needs to be a little further back just to make that second half easier. So reach out, externally rotate, lean over and reach. Now reach that rib cage up towards the ceiling. Get a nice stretch. Breathe into that lung. Really open that up. And then come back up. Now we'll go into the full rotation. So reach up and over. And then rotate. Bring the hands to the edges of the mat. Right? Now see if you can get a little more rotation starting from the bottom, working up the spine. Now if you can reach those hands out a little farther, see if you can bring those elbows down. Bring the top leg to the back corner of the mat. Really reach that foot away and reach the crown of the head. And try to get as much rotation as you can, bringing out the center of the body. Stretching that hip. Take a nice full breath. Try to get it all the way down. See if you can tuck just a tiny bit, because I noticed myself that I let that pelvis go a little bit to the anterior. If that's you, just think of it as a little teeny tiny tuck to lengthen the lumbar. And then bring that back leg in. Bring the back hand to the center of the mat. Come back to your lateral side and come on up. And you are done for today. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. And we'll unmute all and stop. So yeah, so